all to play for still?
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Aston Villa fans, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. And we're scratching our heads as much as you are because, number one, we got the time of the bloody game. Well, I won't say I got the time of the game wrong. Whatever system we used to upload our YouTube videos got the time of the podcast wrong. Number one, it was down for 7 o'clock, and I know I didn't set it for 7 o'clock. And secondly, looks like Villa have forgot to name their team because the team hasn't been named yet, Paddy. Game abandoned?
Yeah.
Game abandoned.
Don't say
have
that.
it.
God. Yeah, I don't know. It's just we're two of us are frantically searching here and nothing happening. So we'll just have to wait. Somebody gone down injured in the warm-up from I don't know.
It's strange. They just haven't put it out in their socials yet. So I'm wondering, would it be on? Let me do the old jiggery pokery. It's out.
Go.
There we have it.
There we go.
I still not seen it. There it is. Yeah, so let me share this up, and okay, I like the beautiful man. It's on the what you call it. It's been a long day. Yeah, I'll just give up talking here for a minute while I'm doing this. Can't do two things at once. So we've got Martinez in goals, Cash, Konza, Pau, and Digne. We've got McGinn, Kamara, Tielemans, Ramsey, Rodgers, and Rashford. So Ollie Watkins is on the bench again, and we see Tyrone Mings on the bench getting a breather today. The bench is made up of Robin Olsen, Disasi, Mings, Matson, Garcia, Asensio, Onana, Malin, and Watkins. Like that bench is just littered with talent. But also the first 11 is littered with talent as well, Paddy. And I think that we've got a few bolters there. I didn't expect Watkins not to play this game again, and I suppose in the cold light of day, if I had my thinking cap on doing the preview, we probably should have all guessed that Paul would have came in because of Ming's recent interviews.
Yeah, I actually did predict it today when I spoke to our good friend Michael Jacob. We were talking about what could happen tonight, and Paul was the one that I suspected. And McGinn obviously comes back in there. Bailey is not amongst the subs. I don't see anything else untoward.
Bailey's injured, I think, at the moment. I think he's carrying an knock at the minute.
Yeah. So Barkley didn't make it, but then again, if he did make it, would he even make that bench because it's so bloody strong? But yeah, an embarrassment of riches, and give me that now till the end of the season. That's what we need. We need to have those frighteners on the bench. We need to have the game changers to come in and make the difference. And look, you can make arguably any of those subs, bar the goalkeeper, improves your team, depending on tired legs, cramps, whatever. They definitely improve your team or give you a fresh impetus in especially in attack. So there's a lot to be thankful for there.
I think that's exactly it, and I think so. Humble brag. I did a spot on Talksport 2 today in the social with Flex and with Harry today and on the social. And one of the questions we were asked about was the recruitment in January, and it's very difficult when someone asks you a question like that not to delve into the territory of, well, look at the talent that this first 20 people on this Aston Villa team sheet has, and that's exactly it. Like you've got Disasi there, you've got former international, you've Mings, former international, you've Matson, current international, you've Garcia under 21 international, you've Asensio, should be an international if he's playing for any other country in the world, you've Onana international, Malin international, Watkins international. And I'm not saying that being an international footballer is the coup de grace or the pinnacle that maybe it once was, because God knows, we wouldn't want some of the guys play for Ireland that are benched there at the minute. There's certainly a couple that I've been critical of, but there's some I've been very, 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 very vocal in my support of as well. But this is the level we're at now, and it's great to be able to do this. It's great to be able to shuffle the deck, and I'm really interested in looking at this again and looking at Rashford up top in a game whereby Preston were playing the type of game they're going to play. But now Rashford is up top, away from home, against the Brighton team, which will pop up on the screen in a moment. It's going to be interesting to see what space he gets. It's going to be interesting to see what lines he's going to be able to run. It's going to be interesting to see can he have that click again with Ramsey that he had against Preston, because that's an intriguing question in a positive that I think Unai Emery wants to answer very quickly in this run-in. If playing Rashford up top and the connections he has with those players behind him, if that does tend to click into place. So really interested in seeing that one now.
Yeah, he gives something different. And look, he's a great finisher as well, as we saw at the weekend. He can stick them away.
Oh,
did you lose me?
I don't know where you went. I might have clicked you off the screen by mistake. I don't know, but I'm going to claim ignorance.
What we all have forgotten over the last couple of weeks is Ollie Watkins was injured going into those England internationals. So I'm more than happy to sit these out for as long as he has to get himself back 100% without going into full contact. So he got a run at the weekend, got a couple of chances, didn't take them. Rashford got a couple of chances, took them, so he's in there. He's right to go with the form, and the form is there. Rodgers is playing well, as is JJ, as is everyone else for that matter. So I think this is picked purely on form, and with the Rashford situation is picked purely on the fact that we have had injuries for Ollie Watkins that he has been carrying over the last couple of weeks, and it's the same with Tyrone Mings. To get him out of the firing line there for this week, because I think Tyrone Mings is the man to have in that defence if Chris Wood plays on Saturday, or if we're playing PSG next week. So interesting times ahead, but we'll just look forward to tonight, because we need to get over the line tonight. We need to get 3 points on the board, and that team plus the backup is more than capable of doing it. It's absolutely stacked, as James Villa says there.
I think so for sure. I was feverishly typing there, and I forgot to bring up the Brighton team, but let me just bring up the Brighton team there as well. And we do have a hard out on this one as well, guys. We both have to be gone by 10 to 7 as well. So that's why we're rattling along at that pace here to try and get these teams up as best we can. So the Brighton lineup is as follows. If I can find the cursor of my there we go. So it's Verbruggen, Dunk, Gruda, João Pedro, Adringa, Mitoma, Gomez, Ayari, Van Heck, Estupian, and Hinchelwood. So you'd imagine you're going to have your backs are going to be Hinchelwood, Van Heck, Hinchelwood, Van Heck, Estupian, and Dunk in some formation there. I would imagine Hinchelwood on the right, Estupian on the left, Van Heck and Dunk in the middle. Then you're probably going to have Holding, and this is going to be the conversation I would imagine here. You're probably going to have Gomez and Ayari, I would imagine, would be Holding. João Pedro on top with Gruda, Dringa and Mitoma maybe behind him. I don't know. They're going to be fluid in midfield anyway, and I think that plays into I think that will or should play into our fortune as well, if they're going to be fluid in midfield, because Villa do well against teams that like to hand players off in when in transitions. So we don't do well against teams who hold their ground. And I don't know if Brighton are going to hold their ground or hand players off. You would imagine that the way that they're set up here, with no, outright Baleba in there, with no and he's on the bench, with no Mats Weaver, who's on the bench as well, with Matt O'Reilly on the bench as well for them as well, Solly Marsh in there too, but with no dedicated holding midfielder. And that's probably maybe even because they might even be going with 3 at the back. Might go with Hinchelwood, Van Heck and Dunk at the back, and that might prove different. But if they do go with 4 at the back and having no known entity of a holding midfielder there, would mean that they're going to hand players off in transition. And I think that really plays into Villa's hands, albeit we don't have Asensio, who would absolutely rip the place up in that instance. So let's see what happens here today. Lots of danger on that field for Brighton, lots of attacking prowess and lots of young, good talent there. And obviously the goalkeeper, Verbruggen, is highly sought after on the continent too. So you're going to want to do some good things to beat him today. So a formidable lineup. Subs not as formidable. I would say like their bench isn't anywhere. It's not one of NASA's roar of ours. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's really good.
Yeah.
But like we've got Rushworth, Sonny March in there, Aaron Cashin, who I'll be honest with you, I like him as a player, but my eyebrows did rise when I saw how much they paid for him from Derby County. They've got Minta, who's a fine player, Danny Welbeck, who loves to score against us, Baleba, Weaver, O'Reilly, and Tasker on the bench there as well. So you know, they have people that can bring in there and change the game too.
Yeah. Minty, March, Welbeck, all capable of doing us damage. The interesting one here is, do they go to 3 at the back? If they go 3 at the back, we might find them very hard to break down because it'll be a 3-4-2-1 effectively. It'll be interesting to see how if they choose that this is going to be a 1-pointer for them, then it's going to be a difficult night, and we're going to need to go and break them down. But that's the only way. Just the only way I don't see a lot of goals in this is if they decide to defend, because I think both of us are capable of getting goals. And, you know, I think this could be one of the nights where you're looking at maybe a 3-2 or something like that. And we're all pulling our hair out by the end of it. But once we're pulling our hair out after winning the game, I couldn't care less what the scoreline is.
I agree, and we're at that stage of the season, and I can't seem to click on anything at the moment. Whatever is gone wrong with my system. We're at the stage of the season whereby wins at all cost is exactly the nature of the game. You know, winning this game tonight, regardless whether we won 1-0 or 21-0, it's still 3 points. And that's and I know people talk about, well, our goal difference. I look, if you're talking about goal difference currently, you know, we get the points on the board first and we worry about goal difference afterwards. We're too far behind the teams, and I know we're within NASA's roar of it, but still get those points on the board first, get ahead of a few teams from a points differential point of view, and then worry about accumulating those points as opposed to accumulating the goals. Then later on in the season, then when other teams start to drop off and maybe we start to play them, which there aren't too many of those, that's when you're looking to accumulate goals against Southampton, maybe, but you're not looking to accumulate goals against Brighton today unless the opportunity for a 6-goal salvo like we had against them 18 months ago or so comes up again. So yeah, go out there and win this first and foremost. As we've said before, if it goes in off the back arse cheek of John McGinn and we win 1-0, that's all we want, you know, at this time of the season.
Yeah, winning is everything now. Win at all costs. It doesn't matter how ugly it is. If we keep winning, we won't be stopped and we'll get into the top 5. It's as simple as that. These 2 huge cup finals now this week before we go into Europe again. We could be absolutely buzzing by the time Saturday evening rocks around. So fingers crossed that we can go and get the job done tonight. But I do worry a little bit that they can hurt us. But it all depends how they line up. If they line up as I think it might be a 3-4-2-1, I think they'll be harder to break down. If they do that, we're going to have to be patient. We're going to have to put up with the back passes and the balls back to the goalkeeper and restarting. And hopefully we can get behind the team and get a result.
I've said it before in the preview. I don't think this, and watch me have egg on my face afterwards, I don't think this German manager for Brighton can fully commit to the park the bus. I think he might try it, but I think he will go, no, we can't have Gruda, João Pedro, Adringa, Mitoma. We can't have these guys parking the bus. Let's release the hounds. I think he has that in him. I think he has that, and this isn't in a negative. I think he's cocky, confident, should I say more so, in his ability to be able to put a team out to attack the living daylights of any other team. And I think he's right, because he is able to do that. So I just can't see this being a park the bus. You might see it a 3 at the back, all right, but I can see this one being open. I just don't know what to score. I've predicted a 2-1 win today on TalkSport, but I just can't. I can't see this one being a dour first half. I could see us conceding in the first 6 minutes and coming back to win 2-1 though, with the first shot on target. You know, that traditional script that we've seen from Villa this season. But that's the excitement of watching Aston Villa this year. You know, it can be rags to riches, or it can be riches to rags in any given game. And we're playing big games against big teams over the course of the next 2 weeks. So bring it on. This is where we want to be. And I didn't see that. I think you're right, Neil. But as a means to hit on the account. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So he will not shackle the horses. Put it that way.
Well, that's it. If we're caught in possession, there's plenty there to hurt us. So we will have to be a little bit careful with that. But look, I still think, and I stand over it. I still think we've enough to go and win the game. Yeah, but I think goals either a 2-1 or a 3-2 for me. I'll stick with the 3-2, seeing as you went 2-1. And you only mentioned twice you were on TalkSport today, Neil. You only mentioned it twice. Come on, get another one in.
I was, you know. Did you ever hear TalkSport? I was on TalkSport today. I don't know if you've heard
it. It was TalkSport 2. We have to download an app and I'll do all it.
A TalkSport Ireland only launched yesterday as well, by the way. Did you know that?
Did it?
No. Yeah.
Is that why they had you on?
I don't know. No, in fairness, actually, I think Dan Bardell gave him my number because Bardell couldn't do it. But Bardell is actually on TalkSport on YouTube tonight. So because the game isn't on live on TV tonight, TalkSport have their panel of people watching the games like they would have on Soccer Saturday and stuff like that. And Dan is on TalkSport YouTube tonight doing that, and he'll be watching the Villa game as well. So so tune into TalkSport on YouTube if you want to see Dan, and he'll be there too. Yeah. So give him a shout out if that is so if you are that way inclined with regards to watching those panel shows. I'm going to try and get the game though through any means possible. That's how I'm going to do, and we'll see if we can find it somewhere. But Paddy, I'm clock watching here. That's why I'm so distracted. And thanks a million to Dan for giving TalkSport my number and having and get me on the chat, because it was a great chat today, and I did enjoy it with Flex and with Harry. But we got to be out here in a minute, and I know, guys, that you guys been putting in your scores. There on in the chat. Unfortunately, we won't be able to get to them because I got to run like the wind now to be gone out of here by 10 to us. So I'm going to leave it at 2-1 Aston Villa. You're going with 3-2 Aston Villa, and hopefully we see goals. But either way, we will be back with a post-match show. Apologies for the abridged show here for the Team Sheet Tantrum, but we will be back with a post-match show later on this evening, right in the final whistle. So come join me then, because I don't think you can make it then, Paddy. But come join me, and we'll be able to break down the good, the bad, and the ugly with regards to what happened today against for Villa versus Brighton. And I'm looking forward to a great game. And here's the kick that we're going to need to kick on towards the Champions League places. So all that's left to say, everybody, is get ready, enjoy yourself, get ready for this game, enjoy the game, and stay safe, stay healthy. And all that's left to say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.